Afternoon and welcome to the Rob. I noticed I do that every time, by the way, Coach. Afternoon and welcome to the Robin Hood Capitalist. I'm your host, DJ Flores. With me, of course, my coach, and hopefully your guys soon. If you, at least I know you're listening. I know you're listening, so you're getting the wisdom coming from this man. But, Coach, how was your weekend?
So you do start it, but my dad was telling me this morning. He goes, "I just can't help but smile when DJ's on. He's got that, just got that about him." He goes, "He makes me want to smile when
Thank,
I see him
thank you.
hear him." He goes, "I don't always know where he's going to go next, but I always like it."
I don't know where I'm going next, so don't worry. You're not the only one.
But no, it was good. I had a good weekend. I was on the road, as it kind of messed up our Thursday recap the other day,
No
but it was
worries.
for a good cause. DJ, I think you remember in July last year we went on a mission trip and took a medical mission and some things to Romania, and kind of worked in some villages and things there and helped some folks. And when I came back, I was sharing the what we did, and it was really exciting and life changing and that sort of thing. And the board of the organization we went with invited me to join the board. So the weekend was my first board of directors meeting, and it was really good. I got to meet a lot of really great folks. We had a nice banquet and fundraiser, and we had a speaker from Romania, and the church that he's in, they're supporting
Wow.
Ukrainian refugees. They converted their church. They've had 10,000 refugees come through. They're
Wow.
daily they're doing shipments into the war zone, where they're actually going into where the bombs are falling, just doing some really incredible things. And there's so much more work to be done. So I did send you a picture. If anybody listening, if you want more information on Romanian American missions, that's the URL, and also the QR code there that you can take a picture if you don't like typing. That's there for you. But it's really a great organization. I'm really honored to be a part of it and to do anything I can to help. We're already looking for a next trip next year. We're going to do another one with kind of some of my family next year. So if anybody wants in, let me know.
That is awesome, man. So congrats on being part of the board. I know that was the mission. It was amazing just to hear the story of that. And so if y'all didn't catch it, go back to like and subscribe first, please, and share. But go back and it's one of our.
July. So it was July, middle of July episode.
There you go, middle of July, guys, and you'll hear a little bit more about the mission. But yeah, the stories of just how it was still very much like it never kind of grew with time. You mentioned, and some of the things
Well,
you said
and
is
some of the folks we were working with, it's just exactly what we're going to talk about today. We had one, when I went into one of the villages. We were in this lady's house, and we were trying to help people who couldn't get to us because of health issues and travel issues and things like that. And a young daughter who was in Romania from her home in the UK was there helping her elderly mother and bringing her and trying to figure out what the next stages to help her were going to be. And it's
mm,
exactly what we're talking about today when we start talking about caregivers. So the two kind of go together. The problems we're going to talk about today exist all over the world.
yeah, and you led right to it, Coach, and I can't wait to bring him out. When he reached out after kind of my journey so far this year, and being part of Safe and Sound, which I'll throw this up for you guys. So again, if you know anybody who's looking for trusted products, services, or just anything to help caregivers in any way, this is the spot to go. You can also see our shows. The products are highlighted on there, and then it's part of the Caregiving Worldwide Network, which you'll see there. But super excited when I got uh, when it was official that I was taking the division director role of Safe and Sound. Ryan was actually one of the first guys I got to talk to, and it was all happened so fast. I didn't even know that he was one of the first guests actually on Caregiving Worldwide Network. So if you do download the app, check out his episode on Caregiving Worldwide Network. But he was on there, and his product, when he explained to me what it was, again, my background of security, I did home security for a little bit, so I understand the value. I even have a life-saving story. One of my reps, his life, he tells the story, and it was so powerful, but it literally saved his life, was his home security. And just hearing that, some sort of a story, but then Ryan's device and his system kind of answered the inside question that I always kind of wondered. Well, what if you can't push the button? And so I literally when he reached out and we connected, I was like, oh my goodness, please come on the show. I can't wait to share. Like, people need to know about this product. I don't know why everybody doesn't know about this product, but hopefully, again, if you do know anybody going through that caregiver journey, share this episode. It will definitely help give that peace of mind, especially once you see what the product is. But I'm excited to get into it, Coach. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Can't wait.
Let's do it.
You get one heartbeat song. Take it seriously. This is your masterpiece. Don't forget to dream and taste the colors in the air you breathe. It's your masterpiece. Go ahead and feel it all. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful. Don't stop till it is beautiful.
All right, guys, and again, welcome back to Robin Hair Capitalist. Our guest we have next is the creator of this amazing product, and I can't wait to bring him out. Ryan, the smart guy, heard. Come on out.
Thank you, guys. What's going on, DJ? How you doing, Coach? I really appreciate you having me on.
We're
Thank you
excited for you to be here. This is going to be awesome, and I love the product. When I've seen it, looks so good.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, there are a lot of people that are going through very stressful times, and I am on a mission to really help as many families as possible. Really, we have a million family mission. You know, if I can give them more peace of mind, save time, and really enable our loved ones to live with dignity and independence, you know, that is my mission.
Awesome. Anybody commenting hashtag
Yes,
million
please.
family mission? That's a pretty good one.
Yes, I love on a mission is always a greater purpose, which is what I'm all about. So, who is Ryan Hurd? Ryan, the smart guy, Hurd. The smart guy. I love that. And again, I'm a tech nerd. So when we connected, we we got into a lot of the censored talk and tech. So, but yeah, if you could share with everybody kind of where this, I guess, who are you, where you came, where the smart guy Heard came from, and but also where it led to Caregiving Smart Solutions and the product that you have now.
Sure. Where did I come from? Well, number one, I am a Jersey boy. So, you know, let's
Yeah.
hear it for New Jersey, although I love Florida. You know, I'm a big Disney guy. So that's always good. I've been in technology for the past 30 years. So think smart home, IoT, sensors, like we spoke about. And I wrote the book on it, actually, called Join the Smart Home Revolution. And by coming up with the book, that's where Ryan Hurd, the smart guy, came from, which was kind of interesting. And that just between writing the book, between being on stage, I've given presentations at CES on the main stage. Like, that is the Super Bowl of technology. At Design and
Yeah.
Construction Week, which is the Super Bowl about homes and construction and all that other cool stuff. And even TEDx talking about this technology for aging in place and how we can leverage technology for aging in place. And
Oh,
quite frankly, my life was phenomenal, although it still is. But, you know, the bump in the road was my father's cancer. And more specifically, when he was going through his chemo. You see, after he got home, I did not know how he was doing. I didn't know if he got up. I didn't know if he fell. I didn't know if he was taking his
oh,
medication for neuropathy that had to be taken at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't know anything. And of course, you know, my father, which is a Vietnam vet, he's proud. He's fiercely independent and he's not going to wear a pendant. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So the first thing I do, because I'm Ryan Hurd, the smart guy, is I get a camera and I put it in there. And that lasted, 10 or 15 seconds. And a dish towel went right over that, and that went right into the garbage. So that kind of made me go down this road of what do I need to do? And I started looking, and the only thing out there were the wearables, the pendants, that kind of stuff, which is fine. But if your loved one's not going to wear it, we have a problem. What else can we do? So I leveraged my 30 years of knowledge, and I said, you know what? We're going to figure this out, because if I have this problem, I know other people have that problem. And that's where Caregiver Smart Solutions was born.
How long ago?
Oh, let's see. I started this journey in 2018, really refined it and got it working right around COVID. That was wonderful. And then during COVID, made it even better. So the one good thing about it is, if you think about it, if you're a caregiver, if you have somebody that you're taking care of and they're living on their own, what is the biggest problem you have? You actually have three problems. Number one, safe and security, right? I want to know if mom is okay. I want to know, did she fall? I want to know if mom's alive. I mean, we just want to make sure. That's number one. Number two, health and well-being. Is mom eating? Is she taking her medication? Is she moving around normal? Is she using the bathroom? Is she taking a shower? Is the heat on in the house or the air conditioning? And then number three, in real time. Right now it's 4:12 in the afternoon. How's mom doing? 99% of everybody cannot answer that question. And I know it's my grandmother. My grandmother is 97 years old. God bless her soul. I call her up if she answers, because she never wears her hearing aids. If she answers, "Grandma, how you doing?" I always get that answer. "I'm fine. What do you want?"
Like, is she still?
Yeah, she's still Jersey. Well, the interesting thing is, the other thing too is understanding their comfort level with technology, right? DJ, we talked about this. You're a tech guy. I come from the tech world. So for us, technology is it's there. It's all around us. We've got the Googles, the Alexas, the iPhones, the stuff, and it's just in our daily life. But my 97-year-old grandmother, she believes the technology is spying on you. I mean, who knew? She was way ahead of her time. With that said, she has a certain comfort level, which is fine. But you're not going to put a camera in there. You're not going to put a listening device. She wants nothing to do with that. And what we found is most people are like that, which is fine. And that's why, it's very important for us that we're not a camera. We're not a listening device. We're a simple and effective solution. What we're doing is we're using these tiny sensors right there, tiny non-invasive sensors placed discreetly around the home. And what they're doing is they're actually monitoring your loved one's habits. We call them ADLs, activities of daily living, but these sensors are placed around the home like there, and they're monitoring what's normal. So in other words, we're all creatures of habit. We all get up about the same time. You go to the bathroom, you go and make your tea or your coffee, maybe get something to eat. Maybe you crack open a laptop, watch the boob tube, whatever it is. We can kind of map that and what's normal, kind of get out a baseline. And then from there, anything that's outside of that line, you can notify. So obviously, most important thing, God forbid, did mom fall? Is she laying on the floor? Absolutely. But then on top of that, there's hundreds, if not thousands of other things that we're worried about, right? So, is mom eating? Did she open up the refrige at all today? Did she go into the bathroom at all today? These are all the little things that, we want to know. And that's important. And it's important to quality of life and independence. Make sense so far?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Coach? I don't know if he might have.
I think Coach is frozen in time.
I think he is. He might be frozen. So I'm going to put him in. No. There he is.
He's coming back.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, when you explained it to me, and again, guys, this is what he is showing. So and then the notifications, like you mentioned, can really be. And I love all of the videos that you have that you created to really explain step by step too, to make it easy. So you really did take it that next level to understanding like that crowd. Now I love that you also focused on the non-intrusive side, because again, there, especially those generations, even my mom. So my mom's a boomer, but she was way ahead of her time, knew that everything was listening and
Right.
everything, big brother's watching. She would say that all the time. And literally it is a kind of a, you don't want to be watched.
Yeah.
Or but then also you don't, there's the pendant thing that is not unfortunately not as reliable, like you mentioned, because what if they just don't want to wear it?
And
So I
that's the
love that you
biggest
came up
problem.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problem. What we've learned is, number one, eh, I love technology. So if you can get your loved one to wear the pendant or an Apple Watch or anything like that, absolutely, go for it. That's phenomenal. But what we learned is, even if you can get them to wear it, um, we've learned that about half, 50% of the people that do wear something, they take it off when they go home. And it's because they believe that they're safe in home, and they should, right? We all want to be safe at home, but the reality is most events happen in the home, specifically between the bedroom and the bathroom. So, and when we're talking about a pendant, right? You kind of said it, where we're literally betting the farm. It's like, hey mom, I need you to wear this because God forbid something happens. I want you to be able to push the button. Well, one of the problems is we're literally betting the farm that mom's wearing it, that it's charged up, and that she has the capability. I mean, there's so many stories of people that weren't able to push the button, or they were passed out, or get this, didn't push the button because they were worried about drawing attention to themselves. Like, who would think that? Yet it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
So, in addition to falling, you've mentioned things like taking medications and knowing if the stove is turned on or off.
Right.
What do some of those things look like?
And it the fancy term is called activities of daily living. The real world is just living, it's your habits. And if you think of things like this, so let's say mom, I'm going to keep picking on mom because most of them are female living on their own, and also most of the caregivers out there are female. And let's face it, we're worried. Guys are worried, but I got to say, if it wasn't for the females out there, very empathetic, we'd be in deep doo doo. I'll tell you. But thank God for them.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah.
But if you think of what's important to yourself, you're worried about your mom, you're worried about your grandma, you're worried about the dad. What's the most important thing after you get past, are they alive and are they laying on the floor? Okay. So we know that they're not. The next most important thing is it's just all the normal stuff, right? So it could be, maybe mom's a little forgetful. So now you're worried about her opening up the door, forgetting to take her medication, forgetting to close the front door, turning on the stove, and then walking out the front door. So it's all of these little things. And because we're all at different times, what I mean by that is, my father, he is now 76 years old. God bless him. He's been able to make 3 bouts of cancer. This guy is tough as nails, I'm telling you. But his needs are different than my grandmother, who's 97 years old. So, the good thing about what we have is it's customizable. So let's say um, your mom has a little bit of dementia. The most important things to you is, did she open up the door, leave the stove on, and walk out? Like, I need to know that right away. No time delay. And I can give that to you. So it's so much more than just the fall or really bad things. It's all the other little things that add up to the really bad things.
Yeah, and so I guess DJ, is it all right if we talk about the business side of this business for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So we talk to a lot of business owners and folks that have taken different paths. Some of them are doing their own
Yeah.
thing, some are doing franchising and all that sort of thing. But you had a background, and and you saw a need, and so you're able to marry the two. But still, you had built a reputation as a smart guy, so I guess it kind of fit, but it was a bit of a risk and a jump to do this.
Yes.
Can you tell a little bit about that transition and how that went?
Great,
You
great
know,
question.
so I am a serial entrepreneur with 2 successful exits. So it got into a point where, quite frankly, I mean, if you're a what do I want to say, a person that has spirituality, for me, it goes from the fun of technology. I mean, let's face it, I love all the cool stuff. I love smart home. I love motorizing things. I love all the cool stuff. I'm a techie. I'm a geek. I love all that stuff. But it goes from that to a calling. It's one thing that I solved the problem for myself. Uh, is dad okay? Did he get up this morning? Was he throwing up all night last night because of his chemo? Is he taking his medication? I solved that problem for myself. But once I started putting the product in for other families, and once you get the phone call of somebody that's crying on the other line, thanking you because you have changed their life. You have given not only their loved one the independence that they need and deserve and crave, but you also gave that peace of mind to that person that's worried about mom. The peace of mind where she can now leave the house, that she can go food shopping and not have to worry about mom, that she can go and drop the kids off. Like, all of a sudden, the independence is not just mom, it's also for that caregiver. And that changes you. So, although there's business associated with it, this is a higher calling. And it
Mm,
really comes down to what I believe, which is my job is, or my goal is to help a million families. So I have the million family goal. It's all about giving them peace of mind in real time. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this.
mm.
Awesome. We love to talk
Yeah,
about purpose and how important that is. So you're speaking our
that's
language.
it. Yes, you are. That's heaven on earth. That's our goal. We want to hear more stories of this. People pairing that
Yeah.
passion for a greater purpose. I mean, that really is. Yeah, it doesn't feel like work at that point. It feels more like a mission. But I think you said that. But yeah,
Well,
it really.
and it's stewardship, right? I feel very strongly about giving back to the community, whether it's your local community, for myself and my community where I live. It is really about faith, family, and freedom. And a community is about the culture. And your family can be your family, your wife, your kids, your mom, your dad, but your family, in my instance, is also my community. And
Mhm.
it goes from whether it's the church to your other friends to the community that you live with. And how you live your life, you can live it with purpose and you can do good things. And that's one of the things that we're really, really passionate about. And I just happen to be in a situation where my background of technology can actually do good for humanity. Like, because I
Right.
know something and I have a certain set of abilities, and now I can go and help the grandmas, the moms, the dads of the world. I mean, it's game changing.
Mm.
Awesome. When did you realize? Because it's one thing. A lot of times we'll get in our own little space and we're dealing with our own little problems. When did you realize how big of an issue this is? Tracy Lamb was with us, and she shared that 58 million unpaid caregivers that are out here dealing with this. So when did you put two and two together?
That's a really loaded question. So Tracy's absolutely right. If you look at the data and you say, okay, as of 2020, there was 55 million Americans that are 65 and older. As of 2030, there's going to be 70 million Americans. Um, you can look at all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying 65 is old. I'm just saying that, as we get older, um, we need a little more help. I'm not running as
Mhm.
fast as I used to be 10 years ago. I'm not interested in stopping running, but it is what it is. So when you start thinking about things like that, and you start thinking about, well, there is benefits of technology, there is technology in drugs and healthcare and all this stuff. One of the other issues is we're living longer. So if you're living longer, but we're slowing down, there's going to be a little more problems. But I think to answer your question, you can look at the numbers, but when you get a call from Japan and somebody's like, I see what you're doing. Will it work here? And of course, your first response as an entrepreneur is, absolutely. Let me send it to you. But then that's followed up with somebody in the UK and Canada. Then you start realizing that this is so much bigger. I mean, yes, you look at the specs, 55 million Americans that are 65 and older as of right now, but worldwide is 350 million. And then you start really thinking about it and you're like, you know what? The reality is everybody has somebody that they love and care about, and they want to make sure they're okay. That's when it starts blowing your mind.
Coach, you got a follow up?
Well, the thing that just amazes me is the need, because it's just so overwhelming. And so when you've got a product like this and the audience is so diverse,
Yeah.
how did you engineer this so that so that even I could do it, or someone.
That's another
And when
great
we're setting
question.
this up around the house, tell us a little bit about that process, maybe.
You know, that's another question. And I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. I hope you don't mind. So,
Nah.
as a techie, as a geek,
Yeah.
it's very easy to make things complex, right? It's easy. So let's think of 10 years ago, and the flat panel TV just came out, and the surround sound, and you still had a DVD player, and maybe you still had a VCR and all this stuff. And oh man, it was great. You had all these things that had blinky lights, and each one of them had a remote, and right, it was crazy. And then we made things a little bit easier. And then the evolution of Apple TV comes. And then the evolution that it just basically you can talk to it, or it's a little thing that's got, you just rub your finger on it, it'll go up, down, right, left, select, those kind of things. It's hard to make things simple. And when we're talking about this genre, group, age tech, silver tech, whatever we're calling it today, it has to be simple. So our focus was a couple of things. It has to be simple yet effective, period. So none of the fancy stuff. And there's a lot of great fancy stuff out there. And boy, it's hard to pull back, but it's just got to work. It's just got to be like peel and stick, like stop it. Let's make it simple.
Yeah.
And it's got to be effective. It's just got to fix my problem. It's the 1, 2, 3 is safety and security, health and well-being in real time, period. That's what I need right now. So that was the most important thing. And that's why we focused on even the size of the sensors. The size of the sensor is about the size of a quarter. Why is that important? Because nobody wants to feel like they're being spied on, right? There it is. They're literally about the size of a quarter. Mom doesn't want to be spied on. You don't want to be spied on. So how do we make it really go away? And the choice of technology, like I said before, cameras are a no-no. Listening devices are a no-no. Mom's not going to wear anything. So how do I wrap that up? And it really came back to, okay, what technology is out there? What can I leverage? How can I do good? How can I fit this in the palm of your hand? And then what are the most important things? So like when you look at the app, all of that information goes into the app, which is in the palm of your hand. And we use a combination of colors. So green is good. Yellow, be concerned. Red, get off your butt and do something. And also the icons. So as you see right here, the refrigerator, literally it's a picture of a fridge. It's green. So that means she's doing her normal thing and it's been open 5 times today. It's how do I convey that information as quickly as possible and as simply as possible? Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. It's absolutely amazing though to me. So I'm blown away by what you're showing.
It really is amazing. And I want to go back to something you mentioned, Ryan, because I don't think and we talked about this when we first met, but the connection of the unpaid caregivers or the people who are actually taking care of caregivers and not really relating to them actually being caregivers.
Yeah.
But I think this quote like nails it. There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, or those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. And regardless if you have nobody in your life to take care of, at some point you're going to need somebody to take care of you. And so like uh, I think you nailed it with the global thing of how big it really is.
Yeah.
um
And now I'm gonna blow your head even more.
Yep.
So yes, you're right. Right. This is a big problem. And the problem is bigger than you and me. The problem is bigger than our town, our family, our state, the United States. It's bigger than all of this. But just to give you an idea on how massive this really becomes, unfortunately, as we spoke about before, number one, nobody calls themselves a caregiver. You're just helping mom. Number two, it tends, and I'm so sorry, it tends to really fall on the shoulders of females. And,
Mhm.
thank God for them, empathy, um, the ability to deal with it yet still being stressed, you know, it's really a problem. And then you start exasperating it. And what I mean by that is most people, even if they're caring for a loved one, they still need a job. They still have to go to work. They still have to feed their family. They still have to pay the mortgage or help pay the mortgage. And the luxury of being able to stay home, that hasn't been around for a long time. So, and then on top of that, just give you an idea how it gets worse. On top of that, the typical age of that caregiver is like 40 to 60. So now
Yeah.
think about that. 40 to 60. You are working for a company. You're a prime producer. I mean, you know what you need to do. You've been doing it for years now. You're female. You're not easy to replace. So now not only are you stressed out because you're worried about your loved one, the company's stressed out because you're worried about your loved one, right? And the company can do things, right? We've had these things like childcare, financial support, even flex time. Allowing you to come in a little late, leave a little early, take an extended lunch. So if you got to bring mom to the doctor or whatnot, that's all good.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is you can't be there all the time. So what are you going to do?
Mhm.
And when you start thinking of the numbers and the amount of caregivers, and then you have to go to work, and then how this is affecting the companies, and you're talking about prime people that know what they're doing, they're producing. You can't just hire for that, right? Even if, let's call her Mary, even if Mary says, I can't do this, I have to take care of my mom. Mary's not an easy replacement. She's got 20 plus years of knowledge. You're not just going to pick that up off the street. So
Yeah.
how bad this gets, not only for the family, but for the employers.
Yeah.
It's something that we have to wrap our heads around. Employer benefit packages have to step up, and they've evolved. If we kind of look back into history, we can see where employers started stepping up for childcare. Again, our
Mhm.
wonderful women, they have babies. That's great. But the same thing is, how do we keep them involved? Because, we need you. We really need you. So offering childcare, offering support like that, even offering financial support or gym memberships. Well, here is that the other side of that bookend where you have somebody that has a loved one that's getting older, and we're living longer. So guess what, companies? This is going to
Yeah.
happen more and more and more. And we better get our heads around it and start figuring out how we're going to deal with this. And
Mhm.
this is one of the ways that we can immediately solve the problem in real time, because that's the most important part.
Mhm. Mhm.
So did you and it sounds like from the story you did, but just to confirm, did you literally build the prototype and install it with your dad? So was that the true proving ground?
Yeah, it's interesting because as I go back and you think of, I've been doing smart home for a very long time. And we've been doing aging in place. The typical where a customer calls you and says, "Hey, listen, you did such a great job. We tend to use Crestron or Control 4. They're like, we're moving mom into above the garage there. We're making an ensuite, and I'm concerned about her. We just want to know, like, did she walk out the front door or anything like that? Is there anything you can do about that?" I'm like, yeah, we could do something, and I'm always able to make things happen and fix things and whatever. And we were doing that. So, but we never called it aging in place. It was just, adding sensors and here's your problem. I can solve your problem. And the way I was doing it back then is we would put sensors on doors and then either we could light up a path. So if mom tend to get up and go into the kitchen, we could literally, as soon as she gets up, light that path all the way to the kitchen. When we see her leave the kitchen and go back in her room, we can turn off the lights, 15 minutes. We can even turn them on at, 30% instead of 100% if it's the middle of the night. So all of these things. And then in the master bedroom, we would have like a little LED on the light that would go to a certain color. So if you saw that LED went, red, mom's up. So things like that. And then when I tried to solve this problem, oh boy, I went through a lot of stuff and there was so much stuff. I'm like, piece of crap, junk, can't do this. But we finally got to how do you make it work without making it too complex, because you also want stability, and that's the most important part, and I keep on coming back to simplicity. It has to be simple, because it's not going to be DJ that's going to be going out there installing that. It might be the 13-year-old grandson, but whatever it is, it's got to be simple. And that was the thing for us, when you get the product, it's literally, you scan a QR code, download the app, you plug in the hub, and you peel and stick the sensors. It's got to be that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even just the way smart plugs and different things around our house, smart lights that we're using now, they have gotten a lot better. It used to be really difficult to get them to connect to the Wi-Fi and everything else, and now they maybe not all the way there, but pretty close to plug and play. So technology has come a long way.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
finally.
Yeah.
Very quick. So, uh, Coach, you got anything you want to go on? I think we got about 20 minutes left. So,
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. I told you that right now I'm sitting in the bedroom where I left in 1987 when I went to college, because my own parents are aging, and so right before this I was downstairs putting a new safety rail in a bathroom, and so these things are very real, and the problems are very real, and the fact that you're out there looking for solutions means an awful lot to
Yeah.
me and an awful lot of folks that are listening, and I just really appreciate it. And when DJ first told me about it, I was like, that sounds really cool. I don't know that I understand it. So I went to the website, and the website just kind of sealed it for me that, okay, I get it. This is really amazing. So
Yeah.
I guess the big thing for me is just, I really, really do. And I mean it. I appreciate you looking for this solution.
Yeah, and you know what? When you think about things like it was just in the news, unfortunately, I think it happened in Georgia where an older couple was found. The family was worried about their family, their parents. Nobody had heard from them from a day, 2 days. Now it's 3 days. So then they do a wellness check. Wellness check goes over. They're knocking on the door. They don't know what's going on. They get into the house. The house is extremely warm, and they find the two people, and unfortunately they passed. Well, unfortunately the heating system went out of control. The inside of the house was 120 degrees, and they passed because of that. And these are the kind of stories that I hear that just
wow.
make me nuts, because that should never happen. With today's
Mhm.
technology, that should never happen. But yet, it does. It's a scenario where something happens, somebody falls, and they might not even be knocked out. But we've all heard the story where somebody falls and they weren't found for hours or days later. And again, that that should not happen. Just the dignity of it. Why should that happen? There's the technology out there. There's the empathy out there. I mean, if any of us found out about our neighbors, we would run over there. We would absolutely take care of it. So, we do have to step up a bit as a society. You know, we have to care. We have to care more. because it's important. These are the people that took care of us, and now it's time for us to take care of them.
Yep.
I,
We love big, hairy, audacious goals. 1 million families. I love that as a goal. It's a great hashtag. Like I started this off with, a million family mission. But you're here with us. So I'm assuming you do things like this. How are we getting the word out of this great solution that you've created?
Yell it from the treetops. Well, it's, a combination of things like this, DJ, really, thank you for the time. It's all about exposure. It's about being on a Caregiver Worldwide TV show. That was huge for us. It's about, box openings, and that's what it's really about. It's about spreading the word. It's about talking about it, whether it's Caregiver Smart Solutions, which obviously is very important to me, or any of the other products out there, because I got to tell you, there's products out there that can make everybody's life just a little bit easier. And that's what our focus is. So when we think of that audacious goal, it is 1 million families, but it's also how many other problems can I solve for caregivers? So, for example, we've partnered up with a company called AutoSlide. And what they do is they automate the opening of doors. So think of like a slider, a glass slider. So if you have a problem where mom is maybe in a wheelchair or even using a walker, you know how hard it is to open those things when you have a walker? It's like super hard. And then what if you have a pet and the pet's got to go outside? So here it enables them to easily open that door because it's motorized. They can let
wow.
the pet out, mom can go out, touch grass, all that. But now we can integrate that into the app so how many times mom let the dog out today. And we could literally, let the door open 30%. And we know when it opens like that, she let the dog out, the dog came in, everything's good. Because again, all of these things are activities of daily living. And all of these cues will tell you if everything is normal at mom's house. And that's what you want to see. You want to be able to look at the app and see everything green and go about your day, and then stop over when you want to actually talk to her. That's the other thing that we found is that, you know, up until now, it's always, mom, how you doing? Did you take your medication? Is everything okay? And mom, let me tell you, she's getting annoyed. She's like, stop, I'm fine. Leave me alone. Right. But
Yep.
now, you know the answers to those questions. So now it's like, hey, mom, what's going on? Oh, nothing. You want to go out to the store? You need anything? I'm running out to the store, or you want me to pick you up? Or, you can have real conversations because you know what's going on. Or if something's a problem, you can have that conversation. Mom, I saw you were up a lot last night. What's going on? I don't know. I ate something. I'm just not feeling good. Okay. Right. I mean, it's better to be in the know than not. That's the most important thing.
Mm.
Yeah, the ripple effect of this is world changing. It can make such a big difference to families, communities, and the world.
Yeah. Well,
It's the peace of mind. I mean, the peace of mind that you're giving people is doesn't put there's no value to that really. But it's you also nailed something that I don't think people are associating enough with the technology is happening so fast, and it seems like it's going crazy and into different worlds, but really what it's allowing us to do is kind of, like you said, go back without being able to go back. Because again, a long time ago, I mean, my I was raised by parents who grew up in that. My grandma never drove a car ever. She never had a license.
right.
I mean, that was the old school way of things. Like you were in a neighborhood, in a community, but because the world has changed, technology, people need to start embracing it to kind of go back to that connected vision more. And I don't think they're connecting that enough. So
Well,
I love, again.
and how do we do it simply? It's funny that you say that because my 97-year-old grandmother has never had a license and she doesn't want a license. I mean, she doesn't need it.
Hmm.
We chauffeur her around. But still,
Yeah.
when you think of things like let's paint the picture of today and then let's paint the picture of tomorrow. So, one of the most important things, again, once we get past did they fall and is everything okay, is dehydration. The
Mhm.
reason why dehydration is so important is because a couple of things. Our aging loved ones tend to self isolate, right? So they're in their home all the day. They're also not thinking about drinking. You know, they have their tea, their coffee, their stuff, but they're not paying attention like we are. So it's easy enough right there to get dehydrated. But dehydration is the actual number one precursor to a fall. So for us, as we're monitoring things in the home, we're monitoring things like, the refrigerator opening and how many bathroom visits, because quite frankly, we're a closed loop system. Basically, whatever goes in, must come out, which is
Hmm.
good. It's good for, mapping. But if they're dehydrated, what usually happens is it happens over a couple of days. Mom's not drinking as much. She's really not paying attention. And then all of a sudden she gets up one day from her favorite chair and boom, she passes out and now she's on the floor. Now what? The interesting thing about a fall is they're not just bad for that person that fell. It's not just mom that it affects. It affects the family. It affects the first aid squad that comes over and picks her up. It affects the emergency room. It affects the doctors, the nurses. It affects, the hospital where she has to stay there for another 2 days for observation. It affects, God forbid, she breaks something. She's got to go to a sniff. It affects the nurses over there, the occupational therapist. I mean, this is hugely expensive, 15, 20, $30,000. And think of all of these people that it affects. Not to mention, as we said before, because of technology and healthcare and all that, we're living longer, which means there's more people out there.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
only so many hospitals with so many emergency rooms, so many beds. We've found that out through COVID. So if this is such a big problem caused by such a little thing like drinking water, it's something that we have to solve, and we're able to solve that. Right.
Hmm.
So if we can just make sure that mom's hydrated, everything's good, and prevent a fall just from that, think of how many people it affects. And of course, dollar signs. How much money can we save? And mom's a better life because guess what? Mom doesn't want to fall. She sure doesn't want to go to the emergency room. She definitely doesn't want to spend 2 nights in the hospital. Right.
Hmm.
Just the way
Yeah.
it is.
Uh,
I'm incredibly glad you went there. That was important. That the dehydration is, and you said we think about it all the time. I don't think about it near enough. And it's important for all of us, but especially for those that we care for.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you with tech, back to tech again. I mean, I know people can sit there and binge watch, especially with so much tech and so
Yeah.
much things. You could get caught watching TV, especially somebody retired, older, staying at home, like you said, in the box the whole time. They're just watching TV and never move. And then they don't realize now a few hours go by
Yeah.
and they didn't even drink anything. And there you go.
Yeah.
It's cursor for
And
precursor for a fall every time.
our loved ones are more susceptible. Now, even think of
Mhm.
like this, right? Let's take the refrigerator. So let's just think binary. How many times have you gone to the food store, come home with the food? If you have kids, it's chaos. I've got 3 young boys, so it's absolute chaos in my house all the time, 24/7, 365. It's just amazing. But I love them. They're the best thing in the world. But you come home, you're throwing stuff in the fridge, you're packing it tight, you kind of close it, with your butt or your hip or your foot, whatever it is. It doesn't really close. And then a couple of minutes later, you're sitting in the living room and you're like, what's that noise? That buzzing, dinging, whatever. Okay. Then you
Mhm.
go, the fridge is open, you close it. No big deal. That exact same thing can happen to grandma. The problem with grandma is that as you get older, your hearing starts to go, specifically the highs and the
Mhm.
lows. So, for whatever reason, every manufacturer uses the exact same tone, which is that annoying high. And I guess that's why it's annoying and high and you hear it. But our loved ones, they can't. So let's think about this. Grandma comes home in the morning, puts the food away. So she's got deli meat in there. She's got leftovers from last night in there. She tries to close it. It doesn't really close. She goes, she binge watches for a couple of hours. Maybe she takes a nap. Now it's 4, 5, 6 hours later. She gets up to make her tea. Then she realizes, oh, the refrigerator's open. My grandmother is 97 years old. Guess what? Do you think she's going to eat the deli meat or the milk or the leftovers and they could be up to 70 degrees? Yeah. Why? Because she went through the Great Depression. See, that's the other thing that people don't understand. Psychology is 50% of what's going on here. So for us, that could be bad. I mean, I don't know how long that refrigerator was open. I don't know if it's at 60. It's been 60 for 2 or 3 hours. But now fast forward to, having Caregiver Smart Solutions in there. Literally 5-10 minutes later, you're going to get a notification on your phone. The refrigerator's open. You can call mom. Hey, mom, how you doing? I'm fine. Do me a favor. I think the fridge is open. Could you just check it? She waddles over there. She closes it. Yep. Oh, cool. Crisis averted. That's what I mean by simple and effective, right? It's all of those little things, because if that little thing ended up meaning that mom drank the milk or ate the leftovers or the deli meats, and all of a sudden she gets sicker than you and I. I might be running, maybe I'm in a little better health, whatever, but grandma all of a sudden gets sick, and now it could be a big deal, just like water. So it's all the little things that could be big deals just because we're not monitoring it. And that's what I mean. The technology's here today. This is something that can actually help humanity, and it's really important.
We lost Coach, but
Ah,
I agree, and it is so powerful. And hey, we have somebody listening on Facebook, I think, right now, and they said this is a really great product. My mom is 89, living in her home alone. I will definitely look into this. So hey, let them know. I guess we're wrapping this up anyways. If Coach comes back, I'll bring him back out. But if you can, I guess give her the shout out of where she can find this, and thank you again for coming on. And I'll leave us with some final thoughts too.
well, thank you for letting me be here and really tell my story and what's going on. You can always, if you're watching us, you can always scan this QR code. It goes right to our website. Obviously, you can go to the website, which is caregiversmartsolutions.com. Again, it's caregiversmartsolutions.com. You can give us a call, 888-585-5022. Again, it's 888-585-5022. And I'd love to talk to you, because you know what? It's that million families. We got to take care of them.
Yes. So please, guys, again, what you're looking for is right there. Got the overlay. Caregiver Smart Solutions. This is it. And thank you so much, honestly, for coming on. This was, again, I love what you're doing. I love the mission. We're all about missions here, right, Coach? With our 10,000 families.
Yeah.
So it's
helping families. That's our mission as well. So we're on board.
So please, anybody, if you do watch this, if you catch this later, if you catch this on a replay, again, share this with a loved one. Share this with somebody who you know who might be going through the journey of taking care of a loved one, or ask, hey, do you know anybody who is taking care of a loved one? And they might say, hey, actually, I am. Because I found that out over and over and over again, now being part of this with Caregiving Worldwide Network. So again, if you can also find Ryan on our previous episodes. I think it was one of the first or second episode of Caregiving Worldwide Network with Tracy Lamb, host on the RHS TV app. But you can find him on there. His episode, again, you'll find more information and websites and stuff there too. But really just so honored to be really part of the whole mission of helping caregivers. I didn't realize my story of being tied to a caregiver in the same way that we talked about. It doesn't really resonate until you start to hear other stories, and you're like, oh my God, that was my mom. Oh my God, that was literally everything she had to go through and sacrifice and all of this stuff. And I didn't even think about that. I've seen it all, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And then it was really, just to know that there's so many out there that are unpaid, that are going through this. And it is, again, guys, it's deeper and more than you know. Ryan, you nailed it with the fact that the world, guys, we're getting older and lasting a lot longer, y'all. But society didn't make it. You can't even, most families, both parents have to work now to even survive. So literally, just think about that. And so nothing is like what it used to be. There isn't the ready hands available, unfortunately, and communities have spread. So with tech, with solutions like this is the way. We have to get more used to being able to see and comfortable with. Again, my mom, this was the hardest thing. She grew around, we have always been around her our whole life. Now we're literally all separated across the map. And she is kind of in a daze herself right now. But she is getting a lot more easy with the technology, and we just have to adapt to it. This will give us that closeness, even though we can't be close in distance.
Well,
It will still give us that.
here's something that I just heard that still resonates with me. You know, when you have kids, they say that up until the age of 19, you'll spend 90% of the time that you'll spend in life with them up until 18. And then from 18 till when you pass, only 10%. So here's the point where we can give back to the people who sacrifice so much for us. And it doesn't have to be hard, but you know what? God forbid something happens, you know about it, you can create action on it. That's where it's all about, right?
Mm.
Yeah. The
Coach,
90% rule there is kind of hurts my heart.
It
uh,
sure
you
does.
know,
My two
you know what,
kids are in
Ryan?
the house and I miss them every day.
I seen that too, and yeah, it's blessed to go through the journey twice of raising kids, having five. I have to give the shout out to my second oldest. He just my second grandchild couldn't wait to come, so she came early. So she was born on Saturday, but yeah, so shout out to Julian and Azalea, but she's doing amazing. But yeah, it's literally.
That's so
Uh,
cool.
I agree with what you're saying. I seen that post. We must have seen it around the same time because it started to circulate. But I seen it and I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
is so true. It really in this stage of life, it's totally different with my older ones, and then going back and yeah, there's life evolves, life keeps going, guys, and so yeah, it's that nine. I think it was 95% of your life, but I'll give you 90. I think 90 makes me feel a little bit better, but yeah, I thought I seen 95 and I was like, oh my goodness,
That's so
95 by the
cool.
age of 18. So
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, Ryan, yeah, and the highest honor is to take care of those who took care of us. So
100%.
coach, final thoughts, and then this was amazing. Thank you again, Ryan. This was
I'll go a slightly different direction. Well, first, just I'll challenge everybody to go and check the product. Look up the website because it will blow you away with what you'll see. But also to all of our entrepreneurial audience, because we have a lot of folks out here that are doing a lot of great things in a lot of industries. When you see a problem, solve it. Don't complain. Don't whine about it. Use that skill set that you have and solve it, because there's a lot of other problems out there that we could do some work on to help those million families as well. So I love that entrepreneurial spirit and the problem solving spirit that Ryan brings to the table as well.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And guys, I really appreciate you having me on together. You know, if we just keep on talking about it and keep on sharing this and everything else, you know, we can make a difference. And that's what it comes down to. We all together can make a difference.
we all have to in the end. We're all one in the end. So again, thank you, Ryan, for joining us, Coach. I can't wait to break this down Thursday. So again, everybody, if you're watching this, Ryan, we will break this down, and Coach, me and Coach will get into deeper ideas and kind of spitball just what you have going on here. But seriously, just thank you for what you do, for what how you've married tech to this world, but made it simple, because it is the key to breaking through. I think to especially that generation, which is the biggest and needs it the most right now. But yeah, again, if you guys know anybody who is dealing with a journey, or just saying, hey, you catch them, or just if you caught this episode, now pay attention. If you catch that, hey, I got to go check on mom before I go meet you at the wherever, or somebody at work, you hear them say something like that. That means they're taking this journey, whether they are connecting to the fact that they're a caregiver or not, they're taking this journey. And so this could give them the peace of mind to, again, help mom or dad live at home, less intrusive, but you know what's going on. And so again, Ryan, thank you again. Everybody, if you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe. The Robin Hood Capitalist. We'll see you all Thursday. And remember, feed the goodwill.
Always on the red eye. This time around, it's not even about getting paid. I'm just an